Whoa, them boys did it again. Tribute Games just released their newest 2D beat 'em up, and it's time to talk about it, everybody. Alright, so we were huge fans of their last release, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Great game, check it out if you haven't. It's awesome. But when they announced that they were going to do a Marvel one, ooh, your boys got hyped. They dropped that first trailer, and the gameplay looked so good, and the animations were so smooth. The designs were incredible. It looked great. So the game's been out for a couple days. We beat the campaign, we did all the challenges, unlocked all the unlockables and everything. So we're gonna talk about it. But we don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so any gameplay we're gonna show, it's just from like the first few missions. So you're good.
First in this video, we want to talk about the roster. You get 11 playable characters off the start. You get Captain America, Richard Rider Nova, Storm, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Beta Ray Bill, Black Panther, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Frank Castle, Iron Man, Rocket Raccoon, and She-Hulk. And you can unlock 4 additional characters when you progress through the story. Which every single character feels unique and fun in their own way. It's not kind of like how they did in Shredder's Revenge, where every character kind of feels sort of the same. Everyone feels very unique, and there's different things we'll get into more in the gameplay part of the video. Which each character has their own independent leveling system, which the max level is 10. And when you level up, you get like sort of kind of abilities, and like it's kind of a skill tree, but not really. It just kind of gives you automatic abilities. Like you can have a passive skill where you get a faster charge meter on your super, or you deal more damage, or you get more life, and that's kind of how the leveling system kind of works out. The game also incentivizes you to play different characters while you progress through the story. Like when you go to the character route, should be like a white highlighted box around like 2 characters, and those characters are in the cutscenes to the missions. And with those characters, they have dialogue throughout the whole mission, and if you don't have them in, there'll be like a tiny little radio effect over their voice, like they're calling in for that dialogue to still happen. So you're not missing on anything if you don't click those characters, but you will be missing out on the challenges selected for those characters. Like the game incentivizes you to play different characters, where I could be playing as Nova and Beta Ray Bill throughout most of the game, but when I play a new mission on the story, there'll be a little white box around certain characters. Like there's a mission where it's Cap and Black Panther. I might not play as either of them, but because there's those white highlighted boxes, that means that there's challenges tethered to those characters, where I probably wouldn't play as them otherwise, but because of the challenges, I would want to play as them. And it's a cool way to kind of find out who you really like, and to play the whole roster and not be so tunnel vision on a set amount of characters.
Oh,
and speaking of the campaign, let's get right into that segment. Alright, that's done.
Alright, now it's time to talk about campaign mode and all the missions. The campaign mode contains 16 missions, with one of them being a quick tutorial, and the whole thing will last you about 4 to 6 hours on your first playthrough. As you progress through the story mode, you will reach sections where you have to choose between 2 missions to play next. Granted, it doesn't really mean much because you have to play both of them anyway, but I guess it's a nice little bit of choice. But throughout the campaign, you'll get to go to a large variety of locations that'll have any Marvel fan like, oh, well, it's the place. Oh, I know this place. And it's cool. I like it. In some of the gameplay that you're seeing, we go from New York to Genosha to Wakanda, and a bunch of places that I don't want to spoil here. Each level has such great attention to detail, and you're sure to find a plethora of Marvel references littered throughout the whole game. In each level, you go through hordes of fun yet challenging enemy varieties, and at the end of the mission, you'll fight a boss, which, in our opinion, is where they've improved the most upon their other games. Each boss fight offers far more unique mechanics than anything that we've experienced from them. It felt like in the Ninja Turtles game, it was more of just like, punch this guy a bunch until he's done, and that was pretty much the extent of it. Still fun, but not the most replayable thing. But in here, it seems like the bosses have much more unique mechanics that offer a lot more replayability, and I like that a lot. The variety is there, and it's really fun, so that's cool. Which now would be a good time to talk about the story for a little bit. Nothing super crazy, not like game-changing, best writing ever, whatnot. It's fine, it's there, it's cool, there's fun references and everything. Not super memorable. It's a 2D beat 'em up. You're not going to it for the story. But it is pretty cool. I like the villains that they have in there. Some of it is pretty nice. The cutscenes are cool looking, not like anything crazy, but they're fun, they're cool. Overall, it's nice. Okay, so now we can probably talk about what's the most important aspect of the game. It's the gameplay. So let's do that.
It's awesome. No, I'm just kidding. I'll actually get into the gameplay and the nitty-gritty of all those things because the gameplay is really the strongest point of this game. Each strike feels so impactful and feels really crunchy, and it just feels really, really good to get a really good high combo count. And at the end of a mission, if you get a high combo count and you see the level go really high up, there's nothing better than that. And also, like I said, every character feels very, very unique. They added something different that I'm pretty sure they didn't have in the Turtles game from memory. They normally it's just a dodge. Now they added a parry, which I know that kind of sounds not that like it's not that like innovative, but it's actually really, really fun. Where Venom has a parry, but Rocket has a dodge. And Rocket, what's cool about his dodge is that he puts down little mines every time he does a dodge. So there's the uniqueness for you. For the start of every single mission, you'll be able to select 2 characters in the story mode and the arcade mode. And it's really cool because you can really experiment with combos and different characters. Like I can select Nova, who's a character that can fly and is a really fast melee character and has like some photon blasts to do at a range. Or I could choose Cap, who deflects stuff and he can throw his shield, but he's more of a grounded character. Same with Beta Ray Bill, for some reason he doesn't fly. But it's really cool to experiment with those kind of variation types where it's kind of like there's a tank, then there's like the agile guy, and it's a lot of fun to experiment with the different characters. There's also like an assistive mechanic where if you have your super meter charged for both characters, which it does do it idly if you swap characters, so like with a character you're not playing as, if you're doing good with combos, it'll charge the other character just a little bit slower, but it still charges a good amount. If you have that charge for both characters, then if you hit both bumpers at the same time if you're on controller, you will do like kind of like an assist super move where you guys both pop your super moves. So like if I'm Nova and Rocket Raccoon, I can blast this huge ball of energy and Rocket pulls out a bunch of guns and shoots everyone in the vicinity. And it's really cool just to double down and get more on your combo meter and to really deal some good devastating blows to the enemies. And there is a pretty good enemy variety. There's the same kind of like little grunt characters. Then there's some range, there's some shield characters, some flying characters, and then there's like there's pretty hard characters actually. Like there's one that has daggers and it's pretty agile that jumps all around, and those are pretty difficult. And then one that turns into a ball and hits you, kind of like a roly-poly. But I think the enemy variety is actually really rich in this department. Now we want to touch on a little bit more additional content within the game.
The game is also full of a lot of side content, which is really nice. Some things to... Along with the campaign, there's also an arcade mode, which is really fun to play after beating the story. It basically just takes you through all the missions with your health transferring over to the next level all in one big go. And it's really fun, and you can also unlock modifiers for it, so you can make it to where the enemies move faster, or they have double the health, or you don't recover health as fast or whatnot. Little things like that, which add variety to your arcade mode playthrough and make it more fun to experiment with different modifiers and try different things. And speaking of unlockables, you can get a lot of unlockables throughout the game, which is really nice. You get them all through something called the Cosmic Matrix, and it's where you can get different color palettes or different modifiers. You can get character files and all that that'll give you backstory and everything. You can unlock soundtracks for the game, so that's pretty cool. It's a nice little bonus. That's fun.
Now to our verdict. Do we f with this game? Yes, we do f with this game. It's really, really cool. While we haven't played every single like side scroll that you can play on the market right now, I don't really know how many there are to play. This one is by far my favorite that I have played, which I have played Shredder's Revenge. And if you're a fan of Shredder's Revenge, why not play this? It feels like they innovate in every single category. The graphics are better. The cutscenes are cool. There's really cool cameos for other Marvel things for, some average, not even average Marvel fans, even veteran Marvel fans would be like, whoa, oh my god, look, it's that person. I love that person. And I overall think if you want to play a game with your friends, it's online, it's local, play with your friends. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. This is Comic Grado. Peace.